All right, everybody. You know what time it is. It's time for Devil Dog Addiction, the show where we get into the nitty gritty of what it means to be a veteran living in this here world that we live in. Also, a veteran that deals with mental health issues, addiction, depression, anxiety, living with chronic pain, all that good stuff that people live with and complain about it on a daily basis, but no one really listens and worries too much about it. But here at Devil Dog Addiction, we do worry about it, and I do care about you. So if nobody has told you today that they care about you, I do. I love you. Even if we disagree on the way that we think, because that's the whole point of being an American, is that we listen to everything that people say, we process it, we debate it in our minds, and we think, okay, what am I going to do today? How am I going to live my life? Hopefully it's in a good manner, but if it's not, that's why we have Devil Dog Addiction, because we're going to talk about it. We're going to hopefully feel a little bit better about things. So, without further ado, my name's Nick. I'll be your grateful host. Graceful. I don't think anybody has referred to me as having grace. I'm not Elaine Bennis from a little show we like to call Seinfeld. Anyway, we'll start off with a little quote to start the day, get our minds going. Oh, let's settle ourselves down. Take a deep breath in, out, all that good stuff in, all the bad stuff out, good in, bad out. All right, let's get going now. Most of us spend 59 minutes in an hour living in the past with regret for lost joys or shame for things badly done, or in a future which we either long for or dread. Well, that's pretty heavy right there. Do we often travel through life accompanied by the ghosts of our past, present, and future? No, this isn't a Christmas story, but it is not Scrooge McDuck either. But instead of focusing on the events of our present journey, we may find ourselves diverted by thoughts of what once was, what we haven't done, and what we may never do. I'll say that one more time. We may find ourselves diverted by thoughts of what once was, so the past, what we haven't done, so regrets about things that we have not done yet, and what we may never do. Man, that's a big old list, right, of things that maybe pressures that we put on ourselves or our parents have or people around us or all of the above, and it never really comes to fruition. But, as long as we travel this way, we will miss a good part of each minute. We will not learn how to use our present time to its utmost, to experience, listen, feel, learn, plan, and grow. Man, this is a good reading for today because that's exactly what we're going to talk about, is growing as human beings and not staying in the same place and being stagnant and resting on our laurels or just chilling out and doing today or not doing today what we could be doing today. Always putting off till tomorrow what can be done tomorrow, which if you use rationalizing anything, which us addicts love to do, we can rationalize pretty much anything in the world. I can tell you if it's going to be 0 degrees outside, no, don't wear a coat. No, oh, wait. But if I tell you not to, then you definitely will. Because we know that people in America love to do stuff strictly because someone told them not to. So that's always a classic thing, right? As long as we travel this way, we will miss a good part of each minute. We will not learn how to use our present time to its utmost. Being mindful. Mindful has been a buzzword, something that in therapy circles and group therapy rooms everywhere, and AA rehabs, all the like, those types of rooms, people have been preaching mindfulness for a while now. Just trying to meditate, empty your mind just a tad, to try to get out of yourself, to stop just worrying about everything that's going on in this world, because I promise you this, if you sit around and try to think about all these things that are going on in the world today and think like, what in the world is going on? how can we fix this stuff? Especially as a veteran who I joined the service because of 9/11, because I was a junior in high school, and when the planes hit the World Trade Centers, and it stirred something inside me. And even to this day, when I hear the national anthem, my eyes get watery. Because when you think about what it stands for, and that's an interesting fact about the national anthem. Just a sidebar, you'll notice this, that I definitely sidebar often and not on purpose sometimes because of the ADHD. But actually, let's get back to what we were reading about. We'll go off on that sidetrack in a little bit. I'll make the little note so I don't forget it, because it's a good old fashioned thought that I think you're gonna think is pretty good. Anywho, the ghosts of the past, present, and future are crutches we lean on when we're too weak to use our own resources. Whoa, that was interesting, right? So the ghosts of past, present, and future are crutches we lean on when we're too weak to use our own resources. What does that mean to me? I'd probably say that means, let's see here. Probably your regrets. People use their regrets to define themselves, or things that they have done. I guess it doesn't have to be negative, because you can define yourself by positive things too and get stuck in, whatever thing you're getting in. And you lean on what you were, or what you could be, or the idea of what you could be, or just lying about what you're doing, or lying to yourself about what you are capable of doing, or in both two ways. As I know that as an addict, when we're lost in that use cycle over and over again, you really feel like crap about yourself, like on a regular basis, and you feel like, well, there's no way that I can overcome this, So I'm just doomed to be a failure and a piece of crap my whole life. And those thoughts just cycle over in your head. You suck, you're no good, you're a failure, you're worthless, you'll never do anything right, everybody around you doesn't like you, your parents think you're a piece of shit, your friends don't like you don't even have any friends, your wife thinks you're the worst in the world, even your therapist doesn't want to listen to you talk, and that mother gets paid for it. So, I don't know. We can be strong if we learn to rely on ourselves, our higher power, and our companions in life. How can I live in each minute without thoughts of the past or future? I don't know. If I could answer that question, I'd write myself a book and people be reading that on podcasts and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But the quote from earlier by Storm Jameson, most of us spend 59 minutes in an hour living in the past with regret for lost joys or shame for things badly done, or a future which we either long nor fear nor long for or dread. There's definitely not anything good about not worrying about your future or not thinking that you have one or that type of thing. But I promise you this, that you can have a future. You do have a future. And I hate when people are like, oh, I'm just trying to get over this so I can start my life. Oh, I just, if I could just get this taken care of, then I can really get going. Folks, if you're alive right now and you can hear my words, if you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, you're alive right now. So you're living life and you're doing things. So you have already begun. You are a work in progress. We are growing. We are people that should be evolving, to another level and trying to, create civilization to make it better, not worse. We shouldn't get together and collaborate and be like, whoa, what is a terrible idea for us to do today that we can do this so it just messes with everything. What can I do today to cause a ruckus in this person's life because I don't like what they look like, or I don't like the clothes they wear, or I don't like the God they worship. I'll tell you this, I'll try not to get into politics too much because this is, anybody that actually knows me knows that I very firmly feel about certain ways. And how can you not as a veteran, right? But this show is Devil Dog Addiction is about addiction, and we try not to get into politics. If you really want to get into a good politics show, you need to check out Dennis Sonar Green over at WRMN 1410, the talk of the town, the voice of the Fox River Valley. You know what I'm talking about, WRMN 1410 AM over here in Chicago style. He's got a great show. It's called A Political Talk Show. Just put that bad boy in Google, say a political talk show, and that'll be the first one there. It's super balanced. He presents all sides. He uses lots of research. He does the work for you so you can tune in. He present the ways that you can learn things, and then you can learn to think for yourself. My goal, and I promise you this, my goal is not to teach you or to encourage anybody a specific way of thinking. I want everybody to gather as much information as they can and continuously receiving information, processing, adapt, and then put yourself back out there. Information comes in, you process it, you adapt, and then it goes back out. It's a constant thing. You don't just learn what you learned when you were a kid, and then you just stop learning, and then your views of the earth and the world and how it works are just bleh. They're just there. I tell you what, if you don't evolve and you don't change the way you think, you're basic. That's not going to work out. You're going to have a crap life. You're always going to be angry. You're not going to find contentment. Do you think the people that are screaming and yelling right now that have bajillions of dollars that can't find a single thing that they like about this country, do you think that they are, sleeping well at night? No, I actually don't think so. And I know people be like, oh, he's not worried about anything. They're not worried about anything. They're sleeping fine at night. No, I think that their inner soul is in turmoil because the hate and just the pure anger and just like vilifying of just like innocent people that are just trying to live their life is just over the top, right? It's like, that doesn't help anything. What does it help? I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know what it helps, but I figure that if you have that much money, you should be helping somebody. And if you have that much money and you can't say that you're helping anybody, or the amount of damage that you're doing far outweighs any good that you're doing, then that's super lame, right? Like, I think that what we need to do is take a little sip of water, because when you talk, your voice gets dry. It's very rude, but I'm just gonna have to work up my vocal muscles. They're like anything. I gotta work them out. I'll take a little break of Ruski, then I'll work them out a little more. We'll do a couple sets over here. But I do want to get into the actual show, which today we're talking about the VA. It's a good topic to start on because the VA is an oft misunderstood beast. It's gigantic. It's huge. It's the amount of people that it takes to run this thing and the amount of people that are affected by it is a bunch. So when you just start firing people all willy-nilly, you're with like zero regard for why you're doing it or who you're doing it to. I am not opposed to making our federal government smaller. I don't think we should be wasting money. There should be a department of the government that's called the Department of Government Efficiency. But the way they're doing it completely defeats the purpose. Because listen, the American government is not supposed to be a business, right? We're not supposed to generate income or money. We're not supposed to have stockpiles of loot because of the money that we've made, the government has made. It's supposed to be a direct way to protect the people from a fair market society where the focus of corporations is just to make money. They are adversarial by nature because the government is supposed to regulate this stuff, and then the money people just go after money, and then it's a system that balances. But if you have the people that are just making money, because they don't care about the environment, right? They don't care about the environment. They don't care about people. They don't care about wages. They don't care about anything except making money for their stockholders. And that's cool because that's what they are designed for. I mean, there's whole courses and thoughts and like books and textbooks that have been written on corporate social responsibility, right? Like, should businesses be conscious of what they're doing or what they're doing to the environment? People argue about it all the time. I think that back in the day, during the Industrial Revolution, regulations were different because we were trying to grow. I mean, now that now that we've grown as a civilization, and we have energy that doesn't cost a lot to make, and it's literally will not damage the environment at all. Why would we even have that type of energy? Like, it doesn't make sense unless it's just a bunch of mean, greedy people trying to keep us in this system that we're in so we can't all just get ahead. Because they seem to have convinced everyone that in order for us to get ahead, somebody has to be pushed down. And we're going to loop this in to our thing today about what is good for veterans and what is not. And are we pushing people up or are we pushing people down? Right? Because you can push people all around, but it depends. Are you pushing them up or are you pushing them down? Up or down? Up or down? Up, down, up, down. I don't know. So we're going to get into this. What's the VA? What is it? What it should be, its strength, its weaknesses, and its impact on veterans' lives. I tell you what it is, it's gigantic, and it helps people, and it frustrates people. What it should be, it should only help people. Its strengths, its people. Its weaknesses, its people. And its impact on veterans' lives is tremendous. People talk about the veterans, and the children. You know, but they don't want to put their money or where their mouth is, right? Even on Veterans Day, you can go around and get my bloomin' onion and a free Grand Slam at Denny's, but that's about it, right? I used to be able to get an oil change, but now they're not even doing that. So what's up with that? You can't even get an oil change for being a veteran these days. That's shenanigans. Look, I want to, before we continue on in this subject, make my pledge and my promise to you as the listener and me as the talker. I am going to be as honest with you as I can be. I will not purposefully lie or mislead anybody on anything that I talk about. If I have do such a thing, call me out on it and we will discuss it. Because if there's stuff that we don't want to talk about, we just won't talk about it. And we'll say like, no, we don't want to talk about it. There's no reason I have to lie or make stuff up, right? So I want to try to be as unfiltered as possible and balanced. So if you, just because you are a certain way or you see the world a certain way or you say words a certain way, it doesn't mean that you have to be looped and buttonholed into that type of talk and thinking forever. I like to pride myself on the fact that I have an open mind. I like to think that I can be convinced to change my mind on whatever. And that doesn't mean that you have no convictions or you have bad, whatever. You can't follow through on something. No, it's just called being open, and having a willingness to change and have a willingness to adapt and have a willingness to grow, right? Like, I know that it's comfortable to just be stuck where you are or just like kind of live in your own little bubble. And if it's not messing with you, just kind of like put your hands on your ears, be like, meh, 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 meh. Just do that all day. But, just shoving your head in the sand. Here, you know what I say? If you're shoving your head in the sand, I mean, it means that you got your butt sticking up in the air and you're not even looking at it. So, I mean, like, someone would come on, like, I don't know, kick you in the butt, I suppose. Anywho, some of the biggest issues that we're going to focus on this here topic with the VA is veteran homelessness, which is ridiculous that veterans don't have a place to sleep at night. How does being a veteran affect your relationships, your mental health? I live in chronic pain, living with addiction. My goal is to inform, question, and push for better solutions for our nation's veterans. It's a real issue. It's not just a fun, hunky-dory podcast where we're just sitting around laughing and joking about good old times when we were, in the service, having fun and doing cool things and blowing stuff up. No, we're going to talk about the VA. And the VA, I think, should be a symbol of national gratitude, right? Like, it needs to be a covenant that we make with our veterans when they go off to war, when they sign that line, when they swear to uphold the Constitution from all terrorists and all enemies, foreign and domestic. They don't even use the word terrorist. It's enemies. So you can get people don't have to be shooting guns to be the enemy of the United States, right? Like, if you're denying elections, if you're saying that our election system is not good and it's not real and it's not actually happening, what's happening, that is not okay. There is zero proof anywhere that that is a thing that's going on in our election system. The fact that this guy who does nothing but spout hate and vitriol and nastiness at everybody in the world except for the 3 billionaires that he's friends with, like, he got elected and he won. Yeah, he won, even though he was denying it. And he January 6th, don't get me started on that. It's ridiculous. It's worse than 9/11 easily. The damage that this guy has done, he is way worse than Osama bin Laden by like a quadrillion. It's not okay. But either who, the VA, we'll get back with that. It should be, the VA needs to provide timely, quality health care, rehabilitation, and community reintegration support. What does that mean? Timely care. What is so hard about getting veterans in and out timely care? That comes around with technology. Our hospitals need to be updated. They need to be top of the line. We send our vets out there with top of the line weaponry, right? We design these crazy weapons that can kill people in the weirdest of ways, right? But then when they're hurt and they come back, we have to give them a janky ass medical service, and they're like using old rickety things covered in rust to like fix your tooth or something like that. I mean, it's not that bad, but the idea, you understand what I'm saying. The idea that we need to make sure that our veterans have rehabilitation, whether it's from drug addiction that the military specifically caused, like in my situation where they went ahead and the Navy doctors for like 3 years were just prescribing me Oxycontin and Vicodin and Dilaudid, and it just bouncing back and forth from one to the other as my dependence was going up and up and up and up. And I'm taking like 8 different narcotic pain medications at a time and getting my script filled like once or twice a week. Just ridiculous. There's no reason that the VA, that the doctor should have been prescribing medications like that. But of course, I can't hold them accountable for it. So whatever. A classic case of, just taking advantage of the young men. But, young men have to fight wars because their brains aren't developed all the way. Because those of us that are older are like, screw this. This is a stupid idea. Just following orders blind and doing whatever someone tells them, even if it means certain death. But living in chronic pain and having mental health issues and addiction is not much nicer. Coming back here, mental health is such an important aspect of the military idea, right? So when you join the military, you end up putting ordinary people into extraordinary positions, and they are going through stress at such a high level, or they're getting trained, or they're being mentally put, like the weight of the world is put on them, and it's not a normal thing to go through. And then we wonder why they snap, or they can't connect with people anymore, or they're just so broken, or they turn to self-medicating, with alcohol or drugs or any of the like, sex or food, anything and everything that's addictive. They turn to try to fill that hole in your heart that you have just from being damaged, right? So how do you fix it, huh? I think you fix it by getting involved and talking to somebody about it, and maybe some medication with psychotherapy, but primarily talking about lots of things will help out a lot. And yeah, I know you don't be like, he's saying that don't take medicine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's lots of things that they give us medications for that we don't need. But there are things like vaccines that we do need, because why anybody would think that it'd be a good idea to just stop giving vaccines to children is just, sometimes when people talk, and then like an idea gains such traction or such widespread support, or just people are just repeating it, people that you thought had a brain, or people you thought like that you respected more, honestly, like that you thought actually cared about things, it turns out they don't, and they're not even listening to anything. And it's just sad, because right now the VA is considered a massive bureaucratic system. Right now we're seeing a lot with the term bureaucracy. All this stuff right now is directly related to being a veteran and an addict, honestly, and especially being a poor. I don't have that money, basically. Being a poor veteran, a poor disabled veteran, that. Oh, but wait, I am a white straight male, so everyone's gonna say that is like the best thing to be. And I tell you what, it's very frustrating, because it'd be a lot easier if I just went the way of the regular white straight male, right? And was just like, I don't care. I don't care about anything else at all. I'll do what I want. But I can't, because unfortunately I've seen the thing from both angles. The problem with opening your mind to seeing how other people are, or empathy, my aunt says that I feel big, right? Like my feelings, I feel big. Is one of the reasons why animals really like me, I think. Like, it's really weird that animals really like me. Like, not like humping my leg, but like listen to me, or I can train them really easily. It's weird. But having a big heart, it seems to be a negative for some people, and I don't understand that. Like, the idea of love and just caring about people, even if you don't know them, it's not easy, obviously. But is it really something that we can afford to just not talk about? Like, we need to be talking about all this stuff, like sex, politics, religion. Growing up from a young age, all they taught us was, hey, don't talk about this stuff. And I'm like, it makes no sense. It literally, it influences us. Everything we do is influenced by sex, politics, and religion. Even people that are like, oh, I don't vote, or oh, I'm above the fray, or oh, it's just two sides arguing, or oh, they're all idiots, or it's just the lesser of two evils. No. Maybe back in the day when both parties were, a little bit more similar. But right now, there's never been a bigger separation between the two parties. And it's because of the first time this guy was in office. I mean, everything that he said was, if you believe this, then you're a Republican. If you believe this, then you're a Democrat. If you believe this and believe that and believe this, believe that. And pretty soon you got two big sides that are just like farther and farther apart. And you're like, rah. And it's like, come on, guys, we're all American here. Like, for all the, the race thing needs to be something that we talk about a lot. Like, and people need to stop being so thin-skinned while they're talking about it. Because if someone is talking constructively with you about race, it means that they're open to it. A person who's racist, like actually racist, isn't going to sit down and discuss with you like the implications of their racism, right? They're not going to go talk back and forth about, oh, well, what does this mean? Or, well, what does this make you feel like? Or how does this make you feel like? This is what I feel like. Could be, this is where I came from. If we could just sit down and like talk about how, like, this is where I come from. This is why I feel this way about this. Is how you feel about certain things bad or good in a certain sense until you act on it? I don't know. Are you inherently bad or good to be born with? I mean, I think people are a very big victim of their circumstance, right? Like, it's pretty rude to just say that, oh yeah, everyone's created equal, And so, the world's unfair, whatever. Everyone has a fair shot at it. Come on. That's silliness. And that's the type of stuff that getting rid of, government programs and getting rid of federal employees is going to do. And this directly relates to veterans, definitely, because we rely on the federal government for so much. You don't think that this type of stuff is going to affect, down the way, losing your job, losing your livelihood? These are things that could affect life. These are life and death things. If like with COVID, like so many people were killed from COVID, and people that had loved ones that died from it, if they got sick from some guy who didn't want to wear a mask just because, Donald told them not to, and that's why a bunch of people did not wear masks. And this is not propaganda. People did not wear masks purely because it was considered Democrat if you wore one, right? Like, that was it. And it's only because of Trump. That's it. The guy is a walking divisive machine. Only thing that he says is just mean stuff. It's just so weird that people don't even want to talk about it. At least talk about the stuff. Explain to me, why is it okay that that's okay? And if your thing was, oh, well, he's a billionaire, so he's going to make the economy better. What? That doesn't make any sense. He's just going to make it so he can make more money. When was the last time you saw a billionaire that went out there and gave away a bunch of their money? Oh, wait, you know who that was? Taylor Swift. She gives out so much money. She gives out a crap ton of her money because you know what? She's awesome. And I don't see anything wrong with just being a person that works hard and makes money and does their thing and gives a bunch of it back. We were actually having a discussion earlier about, can you be ethical and be a 100 billionaire? I don't know. I think that it'd be really hard because of just the difficulty it is to make that kind of money and the business you have to be in to do it and the amount of people that you have to screw over on the way to doing that. And I know the argument would be like, well, no, it just depends on the person. Okay, well, why don't you show me a person who is that rich that doesn't have a laundry list of people that are saying that they were effed over by them? Interesting, right? So let's just get back to this whole thing and we'll try to get going on here. We were talking about the bureaucracy and how we're getting the word bureaucrat is being thrown around with all willy-nilly these days. And I don't even think people understand what it even means. The bureaucracy is the redundancy. It's about a person who's considered to be wasteful, fraud, waste, and abuse. There's government things that, you're supposed to get rid of that. And that is definitely not what is going on right now. It seems it's considered slow and inefficient. Limited resources lead to long waiting times and inadequate mental health services. Yeah. Long wait times, inadequate mental health services, add those two things together and you got yourself a bad thing, right? What's the biggest failures of the VA? Underfunding, administrative bloat, outdated care models. There we go. Veterans report struggling to get specialized care. Yeah, I'm going to add one on there too. It's called the third party people that they outsource things to, like the appointments or like the claim appointments and stuff like that. I have had multiple horror stories. If you are a veteran and you see this, send me a message with the horrible story that you can tell me about your experience with the VA. Or not the VA, but with the third-party VA contractors, because they are horrible. I haven't had a good experience with any of them yet. I was supposed to get a thing for my claim for my care. I called them up. I have my appointment. I go in there, and then I'm waiting like 3 weeks, and my claim hasn't changed to the next step yet. And I call them up, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we were supposed to call you to schedule another appointment." I was like, "Well, so what's my claim doing?" They're like, "Oh, it's just sitting here." I'm like, "Okay, so if I hadn't called you, what would have happened? It was just sitting around there for like 55 years?" "Oh, I don't know, sir. I can get you in, though." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." So I end up going in there. I finally get in there for the appointment, and it's with the third-party people. I get there, do my thing. Then it's 3 months later. Actually, it's way more than that because it's back in October. So now it's like 5.5 months later, and I'm calling left and right. And I asked them, I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, the doctor hasn't even sent over the stuff yet." So it's been over 4 months, and the third-party people haven't even sent over the paperwork that the doctor just like, all he had to do was like put check marks in the damn thing. So I don't know what he's talking about. But the next thing we can talk about is some of the successes of the VA. Oh, wait, no. We're going to talk about one more bad thing. The outdated care models. There's no excuse for our VAs to have less than exemplary machinery and medical, like the cutting edge medical science. Like that's silliness for them not to have it. I mean, here in Chicago, we have the Jesse Brown VA Medical Center. That's where I go. It's awesome. It's really good. Shout out to DDTC over there, the Drug Dependence Treatment Center. They got some of the best therapists, some of the best doctors, some of the best psychiatrists, and some of the best all-around, pharmacists and nurses and licensed mental health care professionals over there. If you need help as a veteran, if you know a veteran that you think needs help, if you are a veteran that needs help, if you're a veteran that's struggling, if you're a veteran that has depression, if you're a veteran that is in the morning, you're just like, so you just don't even want to get out of bed. If you are married to a veteran that has changed how they feel, they've been talking negatively. If your son or daughter is a veteran and if they are not getting out of bed, or they're talking negative, or they're drinking a whole crap ton, or if they're doing drugs, like hard drugs, like if they're hooked on benzos or any type of downer, alcohol, cocaine, crack, if they're always on the move, if they're addicted to sex, if they can't concentrate, send your healthcare professional a message. And then send me a message and let me know how it's going, and let me know what you're doing about it, because I care. I do care. If someone contacts me, I promise you that I will do my best to get back to you. I promise you, because there's nothing more important than our nation's veterans. They're the ones that keep this thing going that we call America, this great experiment that we call America. You know the one where we look different and we eat different food, we worship different gods, but we still get along. The one where we look different, our skin color is different, we speak different languages, our houses look different, we wear different things on our shoes, our clothes are different, our smells are different, our eyes are different, the way that we interact with our family members is different. But that is what makes us strong, right? Like, our differences are what make us better. We don't want to all be the same. That'd be super lame. You don't go to Baskin Robbins for their one flavor of ice cream, do you? White. No, you don't, because it's bland. It's nasty. It's no good. You at least got to get some sprinkles up in that bad boy. Sprinkles and some, I need some ice cream. Dang. Anywho, what are the VA successes? The GI Bill, a huge success. It's amazing. Our veterans need to be getting sent to school for free, of course. The VA home loans. Yes, I got my home loan through the VA. Veterans United, shout out to them. Yep, do that. And there are lots of strong healthcare facilities. Like I said, Jesse Brown. We got Hines in the city. Then we got James Lovell Healthcare System, the federal healthcare system up here at North Chicago. Certain hospitals and clinics offer excellent care when they're properly staffed. There's the kicker for you. Properly staffed. I know just from experience that my psychiatrist at the VA, poor guy, he's just given his life to the VA. He's an awesome civil servant, and he tried to retire, But then they stop loss the poor man. They're like, no, sorry, we're in a hiring freeze, so we can't let you go. And you know what he did? He didn't say, screw you, veterans, screw you. He said, okay. And he stayed. And he's working hard, and he's saving lives. Yeah, he is. And he's not making $1 billion either. What could be the VA with the right reforms? Could be a modernized, efficient system that prioritizes veteran care over red tape, expansion of community-based care options, and mental health access. Of course, that makes sense. Get rid of the issues. Get rid of the red tape. Get rid of that problem. What's the good opposing opinion right here? Is some believe that the VA is doing its job well, but is simply overwhelmed by demand. That's a weird take on it, right? Like you could say, oh, the VA is doing great. It's just because there's so many veterans. I don't know about that one there, buddy boy. All right, so how about this one? Today's Bible verse to go along with our little thing. Isaiah 1:17. Learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, plead the widow's cause. I like that. Learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, plead the widow's cause. And our quote from Dwight D. Eisenhower, a people that values its privileges above principles soon loses both. Yowza. A people that values its privileges above its principles soon loses both. You know what that means? It means if you go out there and if you're a tool and you're rude and you're mean and you act all blah, 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 and you're like, I want this, I want that, I don't want to ask what my country can do for me, not what I can do for my country, then you end up getting the shaft and you're a goner. So if we can find trillions for endless wars, why can't we find enough to care for the warriors who fought them? Boom. So I say about that. So to end the show today, I'm going to go ahead and read you my little poem that I wrote. I write a poem for each show. So hope you like it. Let's see if I can find it. All right. So where is that here? Here we go. I call this one important. I got more important things to do than wait with bated breath on you. I got more important things to say than hear some thoughts to you, I pray. I got more important hope to give than not to preach love and let live. I got more important ideas to pitch than unravel your life stitch by stitch. I got more important hands to lend than a middle finger to you I send. I got more important fights to fight than to keep my opinion and hide my light. I got more important oppression to beat than to cry at night and accept defeat. I got more important stress to settle down than to cope with humor and be the clown. I got more important friends to seek than to waste a connection on a meet and greet. I got more important songs to sing than to give up my freedom to another king. I got more important life to live than to regret I don't give all that I could give. I got more important air to breathe than to waste it letting my anger seethe. I got more important ups to shoot than leaving tracks to my problem to find the root. I got more important trips to take than to spend another second in a world that's fake. I got more important smiles to share than to accept the status quo and keep the world unfair. I got more important hugs to spread than to keep my sadness inside and wind up dead. I got more important souls to touch than to think I'm really stupid and don't know that much. I got more important people to be than to be a three-man circus when it's only me. I got more important verse to write than to fill my heart with envy, pride, or spite. I got more refreshing thoughts to drink than to be drunk on propaganda, collapse on the brink. I got more important time to keep than to watch the world in wonder going, what the bleep? I got more important looks to judge than to focus on revenge and hold a grudge. All right, my friends, this was Devil Dog Addiction. Remember to check it out online. Devil Dog Addiction on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter. You know what I'm talking about. It's the place to be. Also, huge shout out to Illinois Media School O'Hare campus. Check out this beautiful, awesome studio that I'm coming at you today from. They just finished it. It's the Edge over here at IMS O'Hare campus. It's awesome. And don't forget to check out my other things coming up soon. Delicate Constitution, where all we do is learn about the Constitution. No partisan. It's just what American can be, what it was supposed to be, what the goal is, and how it works. No politics or opinions at all. It's all just about the Constitution and what it was, like how it was written. And if you need a podcast about sports, check out my other one called Life's a Pitch. I'll send that. I'm going to start sending that one out, I think. And then, don't forget, 1410 WRMN, the talk of the town, the voice of the Fox River Valley. Dennis Sonar Green is on every night, the Apolitical Talk Show from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Nick. This has been Devil Dog Addiction. I'm out.